right now, if you open up your inventory, a crafting table, or an anvil, this is what you'll see. But this is going to change massively thanks to a brand new interface update that Minecraft is working on. We know this thanks to Smokeystack, who is a data miner. That means he looks into the files for every single beta and preview, and recently he found out about the copper golems having poppies on their head 1 week before that was announced. But that's of course just in the copper drop now, so what has he found in the game files since? Well, All UI is getting a massive expansion. It's still being worked on, including for the anvil and crafting table, and today we'll explore these new changes and what you can actually expect with these blocks being updated and why this is all happening. So let's get into that right now. And by the way, you can subscribe if you like my cow and all of the other information we share on this channel, but let's get into the most important bit for me and him, and it is of course All UI. So what is it? Simply put, it's a brand new user interface that Minecraft has been working on since 2018. You might immediately say, wait, 2018 Toycat? They've been working on it for 7 years and it's not out yet? Well, simply put, it's sort of out in different parts of the game at different times. If you were to ask me, I would say having a UI roll out piece by piece is the worst, because for example, if you try to invite someone to your game, you'll get this old menu screen that dates back to the original Pocket Edition, not very great in my opinion, but if you try to invite someone to your game from outside of it, in the main menus, you get this brand new All UI, which you can see uses the design language of big buttons, easy to click, easy to press with a controller, easy to tap with your fingers, easy for all ages, easy for all groups. But interestingly, this will be brought inside of the game in the next update because they're rolling it out very slowly. And when I say slowly, I mean literally piece by piece. Last year we got this brand new menu and the brand new play screen. This year it looks like we're getting brand new friend screens because it's Minecraft Play with Friends these days, and later this year it looks like we'll be getting our hands on the brand new audio screen. This is what audio looks like right now. Again, it's perfectly functional, but if we compare it to the Minecraft preview, it's the exact same game, but here we are going to that same menu setting. You'll see that it's the brand new screen with these green toggles that are much easier to hit, that are much easier to move, and indeed that Minecraft are asking for feedback on because they want to make sure they don't put it in there. Right now it's just in the preview. They don't want to put it in the base game until they've had enough of a review from the community, and so what they're doing is they're waiting until they get that. It's very, very nice and it's very, very interesting, but this basically means that Minecraft is changing the entire interface of the game, perhaps even the main menu screen eventually. By the way, another great example is the achievement screen. Minecraft is changing every aspect of the game, but they're doing so very slowly, piece by piece, and the size and length of that task just for the menu screens is what made it so surprising when last year we learned that they're looking to update the entire inventory and the hotbar too. As well as this, because of the fact that they tie into it, they'd need to update how the chest looks, so it would look like this after the update, and indeed the same is true for the ender chest, for the shulker box, and for the barrel as well. These were all of course monumental and crazy changes to look at that many people had strong feedback on, and so that's why it was kind of interesting that we went most of the year without hearing anything else until the leaks from Smokeystack. So what are those leaks? Well, simply put, it's the fact that it has now been extended with a brand new crafting table UI. What do you think of this one, huh? As well as a brand new anvil layout, and I've got to say, even though the crafting table, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to think that this isn't how a crafting table should look. I think the anvil looks terrible right now, and so it's really cool to see this new UI because it also fixes one of the biggest concerns people had with the containers. Everyone said in response to the shulker boxes, the chests and the barrels being side by side that this just felt wrong, and what's interesting is that as they've updated the anvil and the crafting table, they've put it above the inventory like before. This is very interesting by itself, but even more interesting is the fact that they also look to be extending it. We don't have pictures of these, but they are inside of the UIs. They're extending it to furnaces as well, showing that more and more of Minecraft is going to transition to All UI, and that is a current part of their project. Perhaps once they finish the new social and the menu screen, this will become their next major focus, which means we might be looking at a brand new anvil design soon. And I've got to say, this is such a bad one they have right now. I mean, look at that hammer. It doesn't look like anything that exists in Minecraft, or really anything at all. It's just a single ingot attached to a stick. But even weirder is the fact that this bar that has the name inside of it, for some reason is way off center to the rest of the free items in here. It's just such a terrible design that I'm happy to see this fixed, but I'd also love to see the idea of fixing the too expensive bugs, or maybe bringing new functionality to the anvil, and so will that be happening too? Well, as per this leak, this is a UI design, and one of the, so there's lots of upsides of Minecraft being a multinational with hundreds of developers now. Features should be able to roll out faster than they can before, there's specialized artists now, etc. But because this is being designed by a specialized user interface team, it means that the new designs are all going to be coming from a separate team to the people working on the base game. That is to say, when they updated the menus and when they're updating the invite to game, they're not actually adding any new functionality, they're just dressing up what already exists in a different way. This is the big downside of the teams being literally different teams, but also potentially on different continents, and it means that it can be very, very hard to line up what should be a new user interface change and a functionality change at the same time, because the interest of the UI team is not that. Instead, it's making it show to the player very, very well. This is a bit of a shame, but it is one of the fundamental realities, and so I guess we should ask at this point, why are they doing this? A lot of people would say, Minecraft, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Why is Minecraft fixing one of the most fundamental parts of the game? And there's two reasons here. I think if you were to ask the official reason, it would be, look, it's 16 years old at this point, in the same way that everyone loved the texture update after it happened, maybe a little bit less so before, people will love the idea of changing this interface that only exists because it was designed that way 16 years ago now, and you can see just how janky and indie game feeling it is. This is fine, sure, but it is something that if they improve it, you'd probably appreciate a lot more, and so that is why they're looking to change it, because in the same way that if, I think after like 5 to 10 years, a lot of things become tacky. If Microsoft kept their Windows 2000 design, it would feel very outdated very quickly. After a long while, things can become classic and become cool and retro again, but for a while, things just start to feel dated and old and strange, and that's where Minecraft believes their UI is getting. However, I would say the second reason is the one that they have been public in saying too. It's basically the fact that they want to improve. Minecraft has gotten to the point where it is a mature game. In the business cycle, it's no longer growing at massive rates. Millions of people are still buying it every single year, but there's hundreds of millions of people who already own it. Minecraft is quite mature, and so they're starting to treat it like a mature product. That is to say, they're not taking massive risks where maybe they 10x their sales, maybe they lose 90% of them, but instead they're keeping the ship running steady, and they're trying to keep things as stable as they can be right now. That is to say that instead of going absolutely crazy with anything, they want to make sure that they keep the game updated and forwards thinking, sure, but they actually are trying to make sure that they just improve things just a little bit. That's why they're focusing on multiplayer right now, and so when they implemented the new invite to game screen, they would have tested this to make sure that when they change it from this to this, that fewer people don't invite their friends. In fact, they would hope that more people will invite their friends if they make it better, and because they are very open about the fact that they have the telemetry, they have the A/B testing, they can prove that more people, or at least not less people, will invite their friends after that than before. And they can actually track everything from how long you're playing to how many things you buy, and they can test that something as simple as an audio screen might have an adverse effect on how long you play Minecraft, or it might have the opposite. It might have a positive effect on how many things you buy, and so this is why every single UI change since 2018 when they started making them has rolled out so slowly, because they want to get the data right first and then make everything else later. This does, of course, have the downside of making everything very, very slow. I mean, it has to be said that the speed at which the interface is changing is really, really weird, and the fact that it's changing piece by piece makes it even stranger, but Minecraft does consider this to be worth it, because they're ensuring, even if they get you to play on average 17 seconds more of Minecraft per week, average that up over the tens of millions of people playing, and that's a huge amount of retention they have in their product. If you invite 0.01 friends more per week, add that up over the number of people, and suddenly we're talking about millions of people who wouldn't otherwise be playing Minecraft, and that is the reason why they do so much testing, and it's the reason why, if you want to know when is this coming out, I would say the answer isn't anytime too soon. Sure, positive progress is being made. We've moved from having 4 containers to having 6, plus the furnace, but even then, if we consider this, it's still the overwhelming majority of blocks that tie into the user interface that need to be changed before this can even start being tested. Take the beacon, for example. It's just your inventory, but bigger. They'd need to redesign this, perhaps give it new icons too. They'd need to change the enchantment table with its very silly looking book. Look at this lapis slot too. It's such a, everything about this is very programmer art, if we have to say, but they need to change every single one of these blocks, even once we remove the ones we do, from furnaces to smokers to blast furnaces to stone cutters to the blacksmith table to even signs and looms, and yes, that includes villagers, fletchers and the like too, and indeed any mob that you can ride. And of course, would that be the perfect time for the fletching table? Yes, but like I mentioned, different teams for different times. So when will this be coming out? I would suspect not very soon. I would suspect that even if they made it their next priority, we'd still be seeing this in betas and previews maybe by the end of the year, but I would actually expect that, like how it's been 7 years to work on the menu and it's still not done, this is one of those long-term projects that eventually will happen, but you're going to get a lot more notice than this. This is the very early phases of data mining. The official announcements are when you know that it's going to be coming in the coming months, and so you can keep an eye out on those, I guess, but for now, I wouldn't stress too much. Anyway, speaking of things that I wouldn't stress too much about, let's move into the conclusion now. Because yes, to conclude, it's fascinating that Minecraft are changing the entire interface of the game, even how you interact with it on a day-to-day basis, but also this is something they were very clear about. When Minecraft stopped doing yearly updates, they said that as well as having regular drops and new content to keep you nourished on a month-to-month basis, there were going to be longer-term initiatives, and this is one of those. We've also seen them mention combat a bunch of times, and it's kind of important that Minecraft does focus not just on keeping the community healthy on a week-to-week or month-to-month basis, but also that they keep the changes needed that keep the game going in the long term. And it's really cool to know that they're not just thinking about what to do this quarter, they're thinking about the longer-term health of the game, like we've seen when they talk about the new end update, or they talk about how a fourth dimension could work, and how they built the portal in the game now with the ancient city so that it's ready if they ever need it. This is the sort of future thinking you want from a game if you want to play it for 50 years, and indeed, I think that Minecraft is very unique in that they actually have the best shot possible of lasting all of that time. But yeah, I think we could talk forever about what potential future initiatives could be. If you have any fun ideas about what you think Minecraft needs to do in the long term, even though it would be crazy in the short term, I'd love to hear that down below, and maybe we could include it in the next Bits video. But for now, thank you for watching, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.